Hello everyone, my name is Sam and welcome to my podcast, Sounds Like Sam. Today's episode I will be discussing why I am now certain the Jaguars are planning to tank this year. Reasons I believe the Jaguars are definitely tanking is one, the breaking news of the day, which is that Leonard Fournette, the running back for the Jacksonville Jaguars, is on the trading block right now. Just happened today, Saturday, April 18th, probably around 2 p.m. The evidence was a tweet by Roto World Football that said the Jaguars are doing trade talks involving Fournette. So, well, I guess first off, let's just go off and say, why would other teams want him? Why is he valuable? He's valuable because he's big, he's fast, and he's a proven player. Last year, he ran for over 1,000 yards, which was 1,152 yards, 3 touchdowns on, I believe, 260 carries. Plus, he had 76 receptions for 522 yards, which was huge. He had a bad second year, and then his rookie year, he also did pretty well, where he had over 1,000 yards and I believe just 10 total touchdowns, which his performance actually helped his team get to the playoffs and win at least one game versus the Steelers, in which he basically murked every Steelers defender on the field. So that was very disappointing from a Steelers perspective, or Steeler fans perspective, but from my LSU liking and having him be a rookie and do that, I was very proud but very sad at the same time with that. And then not to mention that he's fast, because he's over 230 running a 4.5 in his 40 times, so, or at least that's what he did in his as rookie what do you call it thing. So, well, after that, I guess we should discuss other places that would be a fit for him and that would want to trade for him, and places I think he could end up going. So, I guess before that, if you don't believe me on any of those stats, just go on YouTube and watch his college highlight tapes and his NFL highlight tapes. They are pretty crazy. He's a beast, to say the least. Let's get it right. Okay, so I think 3 places he could end up are 1, the Bucs, 2, the Colts, and 3, either LA team, which isn't really a third, it's kind of more like 4, but still. So the first, for the Bucs, I think they need a reliable guy in Ronald Jones. And the reason why is because Ronald Jones can't catch the ball. So they need a pass catcher, which Fournette has proven to do, with last year him having 76 receptions for 522 yards. And this was a jump from 54 receptions from the prior year. Next, the Bucs are already transforming their offense, and they're getting ready to go and be a top competitor in the playoffs. Because not to mention their star players that they already have, like Mike Evans and recent star Chris Godwin already there. They add a guy, Tom Brady, who has 6 championship rings and has made the playoffs numerous times. This was a big storyline, him moving on from the Patriots earlier this year. So they're creating a winning environment, and they want to bring someone with them. And it's kind of interesting. Maybe Tom Brady had something to do with this, because if you don't remember that game, Fournette's rookie year, they almost ended up beating the Patriots. And I remember Fournette was very sad about that. But they had a chance to do it, and I think Brady saw that and said, you know what, when we're building this team, if he's available, you know what, maybe we should go take that guy, because that guy has a lot of heart, and and he has a lot of skill, and we could really use that guy on our team. And then also the fact that Fournette is really young. Last year was his third year in the NFL. He still has time to do a lot of great things, so I really like that place for him. Also, I just ate him into not really relevant, but number 2 team I think you go to, the Colts. I think with all these offseason moves, not necessarily on offense, including defense, like trading for DeForest Buckner, who was a 49er guy, defensive end for them, who's been very good in the league. Phillip Rivers, the quarterback they picked up off of free agency from the Chargers, or he was a Charger for basically, I want to say all his career, and he did okay. I personally don't think he's a great quarterback, and he's kind of all he does is seem to lose, so I'm not sure they're going to go far in the playoffs, but with all these big moves they're making in the offseason, I mean, why not just make another one, get Fournette? I think if they were to do this, they would do something like, I'll trade you, sounds a little fantasy-like, but they'd be like, I'll trade you Marlon Mack and our second-round pick, who's the number 12 pick in the second round. And we'll trade you Marlon Mack too, for Fournette and, I don't know, a 4th round or something like that. And then, boom, deal. I don't know, but that could happen. Although, if I were the Jaguars, I'd be like, I want a 1st rounder for the 2020 year, and I'll get to that point. I mean, the 2021 year. I'll get to that point in a little bit. And then, so my 3rd team is then both LA teams, which really is 2 teams, but the Rams, because they don't have a real running back anymore. They got rid of Gurley because he was very expensive, and they're trying to clear a bunch of cap space. And right now they only have Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown at running back. I'm actually going to check right now how much Fournette is, because that is the one thing I forgot to do. Alright, well, it's pulling that up. The reason, and I just said that kind of vague, but I think if they want to win in their division they have with the 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, Arizona Cardinals, they're going to have to step up their game, because right now they're last in their division. They're not going to win it as good as they've been in the past. They don't stack up either, so why not go and get a guy who's proven. I know that I've heard rumors that Sean McVay would want to split carries again, which isn't very good for fantasy-wise for Leonard Fournette, but overall, they could use him. Let's see, his base salary is $4 million for 2020. Deal alert? Yes, please. Sign me up. Although his cap value is $8 million last year, so $8 million this year, 8.6 million this year. Dead cap $4,471,000. Yearly cash is $4,167,388, which totals 4 years $27,150,842 over his 4-year rookie contract. I say that's a deal. You can agree, you can not. I don't care. I think that's a deal for. I think they were gonna have to pay Gurley like 12 or something. Fournette for 4. Yeah, we'll take that. All right, moving on. Los Angeles Chargers. Again, they could use another weapon. They got rid of Melvin Gordon, who's going to be pretty pricey. Just based off the money that they'd have to spend for Fournette, he's a deal. They could use another Austin Eckler. As much as I do like him as a running back, I just, you could always use another running back. And if I were the Chargers too, why not go for a system where they're playing good defense and they're just running the ball, and then they just have receiving threats like Hunter Henry, Mike Williams, and of course Keenan Allen, and then with Tyrod Taylor, do you really expect Tyrod Taylor to throw the ball? No. You pay him to run sometimes and just to manage the game. I mean, unless they're going for Herbert, which I'm pretty sure he's going to Miami at this point. I don't see, or actually, I think at this point they're probably more looking for Jordan Love to be the next quarterback for them. I mean, at least that's what I would think, because apparently Tua is dropping. So, apparently someone had the Steelers getting Tua in the second round. So, the next best, if they're wanting to shape their team around a running quarterback, and right now they're using Tyrod Taylor, the future would be Jordan Love or Herbert, and I'm pretty sure he's going to Miami. So, but we'll see in 6 days. So. That was my opinion, because Tyrod also did really well with on the Bills when LaShawn McCoy was there, and that's actually another podcast I have to get to, or which I will. It's already done. This was an emergency podcast, so anyway, moving on. So that was the whole Leonard Fournette reason for why the Jaguars are tanking this year. The second reason they're tanking is because they want to keep going. The reason, or for wanting to keep going with Gardner Minshew, I think this just is saying we're going to tank this year. And it's not that he's a bad quarterback. I'll get to that. But the reason why is because they want people to go to their games, and nobody's going to their games. So why not keep a guy who the people love? He's a very likable character with all his jorts, his relatable, interesting college stories of him trying to break his arm. I think he wore a crop top or something, and then just the fact that his mustache is a big thing. He brings a lot of media attention. The fans really love him and want to get behind him. They want to see him do well. So there's that aspect to it. Whereas, why get rid of a guy who everybody loves and who's going to bring us people? Keep him for that reason. But why does this mean they're tanking? It's because he's just okay. I mean, he only won them 6 games last year, which isn't horrible. He won 6-6 last season. And you have to remember, he was forced into this position. So, when Nick Foles got injured. So, he didn't really have any say over it. He just went in, did his thing. People loved him. Because he did well. He threw for 3,271 yards, 21 touchdowns, had 6 interceptions in 12 games, which isn't bad at all. I mean, it's, if anything, that'd be a great backup. But I mean, I think for me, the reason I think it's not going to be well, because they just don't, if they're getting rid of Fournette, I mean, there's no chance that they're going to do anything. And really, this is my last reason they're tanking. And this kind of plays off this one, because their schedule is going to be hard. I mean, they're going against a team like the Tennessee Titans, the Indianapolis Colts, and then the Houston Texans, who are all teams who are very capable of making the playoffs. Tennessee Titans went far in the playoffs last year. The Texans made the playoffs the last 2 years, even without DeAndre Hopkins. They're still going to have an okay team. It's not going to be great, but they'll have more. If they don't have Fournette this year, then the Houston Texans will still be better than them. So I just, and then where did I write that down? Yeah, and then the Colts are with their whole revamping their offense. Phillip Rivers, And to me, their defense is really going to improve. I'm actually going to, that's another podcast idea or article idea that I have, that their defense is coming together really well, I think. They're kind of being sneaky about it, but at the same time, not really. So I'm surprised not many other people are talking about how good the Colts defense will be. And I guess I forgot. Did I? Oh man, I think I missed it. But I was gonna say that I don't think for the Colts, Marlon Mack. I think he's just okay, and that why wouldn't they go for a guy who's better? Because the Colts do have like one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. So, okay, that was a missed point. But back to my third point, that their schedule's just going to be hard for them. The Titans, they're playoff. They're going deep in the playoffs. Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, AJ Brown being on the same page, and their defense really coming up. And then Colts gonna have a killer defense next year, and then they're revamping their offense. Texans, DeAndre Hopkins, even without him, they still have Deshaun Watson. They have Brandon Cooks, and they're just gonna be okay. But they'll be better than the Jaguars, because the Jaguars will really only have Shark if Fournette leaves, and even Shark's still young, so it won't be enough, basically. So I think in all, the reason that they're doing this is to tank and build the ultimate team for next year. This is my plan for them. They sell Fournette, try to get as many first rounds picks next year. They tank so they get at least 2 first picks, and then they go after and get Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence, who's been like the eye candy of many teams. They get him, and then they go after and get LSU star receiver Jamar Chase, who's going to be NFL eligible next year. Or they can go after running back Najee Harris. Get offensively stacked, and then while they're doing that this year, for this season's draft, they go after offensive linemen and defense. Nothing else. Don't even focus on quarterbacks or offensive weapons. All defense and all offensive linemen, because that's what they need. And they're I feel like they're. No, I think that was a couple of years ago where their offensive line was looking okay, but that's what I say they do. I guess it doesn't really make sense if they have, or why they went after Tyler Eifert, other than he was a solid touchdown scoring tight end, so like I said, it just adds more veteran presence to their team and the touchdown catch guy. But even with that, he's still super injury prone. He hasn't played the last 2 years. And but if they do my plan, they go after all defensive players and offensive, and build their offensive lineup. Next year they go in the draft, they pick Clemson quarterback Trevor Lawrence, wide receiver Jamar Chase from LSU, and somehow get Najee Harris. Then their team will be insane, and it will be really fun to watch, and then they'll revamp their entire team, and that is how they will win in 2 years, and that is why they are tanking this year. So I guess overall, actually, scratch that. Thanks again for watching and listening. Thanks again for listening. If you have any questions or comments about this topic, feel free to contact me on my Twitter account @BullseyeFantasy, and be sure to follow my new Instagram account @BullseyeFantasy. And then don't forget to subscribe to my blog, which is in the bio of my Twitter account. And again, that is @BullseyeFantasy on Instagram and on Twitter. Peace.